Okay, hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar session today. Today we have Stefan from Southern Academy of Higher Education, located in Sydney, Australia. So, Southern Academy of Higher Education is one of the private college in Australia. They're offering majority in business and some in IT program. So if you have any student interested or if you have any question or maybe during the presentation later you have any question, you can submit your question in the Q&A box, and then as usual we will address the question after the presentation. And the session is recorded, so we will upload the webinar recording in our YouTube channel as usual. So if you or maybe your colleague who cannot join and then want to know the information, can just revisit the webinar recording in our YouTube. Okay, without further ado, Stefan, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for the warm introduction. Great to be here for the Yes Education uh, seminar to introduce SAHE to the Indonesian market. So I'm Stefan Hoffman. I'm the not general manager, chief marketing officer of Southern Academy of Higher Education, located here in Sydney. I'm also an associate fellow with IEAA, and I'm the current vice president of New South Wales and ACT branch of ISANA. So, been around in the industry for quite some time. Um, Part of what we have, and we'll be talking predominantly about Southern Academy of Higher Education in this particular webinar. However, Southern Academy of Higher Education is part of a group of colleges. We do have a number of different colleges within the group. So Southern English College for general English and English for academic purposes. If you've got students that are looking for that English pathway across where they don't necessarily uh, directly meet the IELTS requirement. We've also got Southern Academy of Business and Technology, certificates and diplomas in accounting, business, finance, which is mortgage broking, hospitality, very good pathway for what we're going to talk about very soon, information technology, as well as leadership and management. Um, as a group, there's about a 15-year level of experience within the group. Uh, I've been with this organization for about 2 years now, since the higher education came along, but there is that legacy of SABT as well as SEC, Southern English College there. So we'll go through a little bit about our courses, and then there's two main courses that we have. So, uh, Bachelor of Business. There are four majors in the Bachelor of Business. What is major? Major is a cluster of 8 subjects, which forms an area of specialization within the course, within that particular subject area. So we've got a couple of different ones here. So we've got a Bachelor of Business with a major in accounting. So accounting has always traditionally been very popular, particularly amongst students from Southeast Asia. But I guess accounting as well, with most industries, is shifting quite a lot in terms of technology as well. So we've got that global accounting landscape which is shifting. But the students will look at things like taxation, auditing, consultancy, consultancy services and those kind of things as well. What is so it does meet the professional standards to move forward, so CPA and all that kind of stuff. So the students can get that professional recognition later on. So what is the outcome here? So junior accountant, retail accounts officer, bookkeeper, payroll officer, those kind of roles. This one is really popular, and I think also a good opportunity for students in Indonesia. I do understand that the hospitality sector is pretty big in Indonesia, so part of that GS process, which we go through later on, will actually go through here. Um, Without checking the Q&A section here, just a reminder there that we do have the Q&A function there. But you'll probably ask, what is the difference between a student doing a diploma and a bachelor with a hospitality major? Um, so the diploma and the advanced diploma, the student will be doing doing the practical stuff. They'll be standing in the kitchen, standing behind ovens and cooktops and all that kind of stuff. Whereas the bachelor will look at the management side of things as well. So it looks more on the management side, how to run a restaurant, how to the financials around there. Um, It'll include things like accounting, very important in a business setting. You need to know whether you're running a profit or loss. Economics, you need to know whether people have actually got money to pay for your products. So at the moment, there's a bit of a coffee supply shortage in Australia, which means coffee has gone up, which means if you're running a cafe in Australia, uh, your input costs are increasing, but the level of money available for people to actually pay for it is decreasing. So you need to find that happy balance in the middle. So economics is important. You look at things like marketing, you need to know need to tell people about your restaurant and where to find and encourage people to come along there as well. IT, so a lot of in the hospitality setting as well. So your point of sale systems and all that kind of stuff. What technology do you need? What do you not need? Uh, and then your staffing and all that kind of stuff. So there's the human resource elements as well. Uh, so um, goes it's quite generalist and it goes through all those key business areas. So looks at where will the student be able to graduate after career outcomes after they graduate. Restaurant officer, entertainment officer, food services, event planner. Uh, One of the things as well is that hospitality and tourism is a major economic driver in Australia as well. So there's a lot of students do work within the hospitality sector when they do come to Australia. Information systems. And without looking at the Q&A, I'm going to ask the question that you're going to ask later. What's the difference between IT and information systems? Um, Information systems is where IT and business kind of cross over. So you're the middleman in that sense. So you got the technical IT guys that know how the systems work. You've got the business people who just want their photocopiers and whatever to run. You're the person in the middle that kind of translates both to make sure both the functional, I guess the the requirements and what is actually delivered matches to meet those business requirements at either end. So it's a good opportunity for students as well because yeah, that I guess that business analyst role in between what the business needs and what software and what hardware um, will get it going is very, very important. So what what kind of roles will they get at the towards the end? So technical support officer, information systems administrator, uh, systems maintenance officer, data analyst. I'd put a business analyst there as well, like I just mentioned. So being that middleman in between. Project management. What is a project? Pretty much anything. So one of the good things with this particular one of the good things with this particular area is it crosses pretty much every single industry. So you got project managers within construction, you got project managers, I guess, in even within the college space. So for example, we've got a internally here at SAHE, we've got a graduation coming up, and we've got a specific project manager to deliver that high-end um, management of that particular event. The Yes Education event in Surabaya, I'd imagine Johnny and team would have his project management guys making sure that everything is organized from the buses from the airport through to the events in between and everything else. So, yeah, anything can be a project. And it really depends on the scope, the time, the cost, the risk, and the stakeholder management. So, stakeholder management is particularly important there because um, got to keep everyone happy to meet their requirements and meet the needs of the business at the end of the day. So, what are the career outcomes for this one? Project coordinator, assistant project manager, project scheduler, junior business analyst type roles as well. Uh, well, one thing that I didn't mention there as well is you've got at the moment there's quite a few students that are doing civil construction courses at the vocational level that are going on to project management as that next step as well. Uh, so what are the learning outcomes here? So communicating persuasively. So you've got to, I guess, communicate the outcomes that you can deliver, effectively collaborate. You need to kind of work with everyone else, evaluate and demonstrate judgment. If you know you've got a limited budget, you're not going to go for the most expensive bit of technology that's out there. Uh, Solve problems creatively and in a structured methodological way. So there is a process when you're actually following business intelligence and demonstrate ethical behavior. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So and just setting up those expectations there. So the way that the course is structured, with the exception of the accounting major, and I'll get to the accounting one in a second. We've got those 24 subjects. There's 11 specialization units. There's 8 first year common units. So across all those 4 courses that I just mentioned, all the first 8 subjects are the same, and then there's 5 elective units. How is accounting different? There's 12 specialization units and 4 electives. If the student's strategic, they can choose across the other areas as well. So you might do if the student's doing the accounting major, for example, they might choose a suite of courses from project management or information systems, for example, so they know what's actually happening, or gives them a broader scope of how they can communicate within the sector or when they get in the jobs as well. So, Bachelor of IT. So we've got 7 different specializations, which is really, really cool. So there's lots of different options for students to do in this particular space. Course structure first. So we've got 14 core, 8 electives, 2 capstones, and the students can do 1 specialization with the elective subjects, or they can do potentially 2 specializations if they're strategic in how they select. One of the other questions, without actually looking at the Q&A, what is a capstone? I guess is one that comes up pretty often. Capstone is a subject that applies all the learning from the previous subjects. So it is like an industry-wide project, for example, when you get to the end. In the capstone, you'll notice when we get there, they're in year three. So there's one in semester one and one in semester two. In year three, that'll be some kind of industry project where they've got some kind of real-world IT businessy problem which they've got to solve, whether that's implementing a system for a new startup business or whatever, and that'll go through the entire process of requisition to cybersecurity to everything in between, how to control AI, user control access, all those kind of things in between. Okay, specializations. And I usually test myself with these ones, but I've gone one step too early. So what we've got is accounting information systems. So like I mentioned really early on, accounting is actually changing quite a lot. So it's a lot of tech-driven stuff these days. So there's a lot about there's a lot going on in terms of what systems actually drive it and those control points and how to keep up with the technology and making sure that you've got I guess, the IT technology that can keep up with what the software is doing. So zero, MYOB, and all those kind of things. Artificial intelligence, always an interesting discussion internally with this one. Um, how to what are the control points of AI? How to manage student expectations versus college expectations, those kind of things. Computer science, and I guess the big thing here, in a lot of source markets where students do come to Australia, um, computer science is that traditional kind of um, topic area, I guess, when it comes in relation to IT. So the student might come to your office, hey, I want to do computer science. Not because it's anything cutting edge, but it's because that's the catchphrase or the IT phrase that's commonly used in your location. Um, Cybersecurity, so we'll talk a little bit about that later, but obviously we don't want proprietary information floating up in cyberspace. Data analytics as well, so um, data is basically the new gold, I guess. Seeing those patterns and all those kind of stuff. Uh, Big part of what I do here as CMO at Southern Academy of Higher Education comes down to seeing the patterns in the data and that kind of stuff. Information systems, it's popped up again. What's the difference between the information systems in IT versus the information systems in the business? The IT one is much more technical than the business one. There is some crossover into the business space. Um, However, in the IT one, it's a lot more technical. Projects project and operations management. What's the difference between the project management with the IT and the project management with the Bachelor of Business course? This one is a lot more. The Bachelor of IT one is a lot more tech driven in terms of finding those tech based solutions. So I'm going to talk a little bit about each of the subject areas as well. So AI, geez, what's not to talk about here? Everything's changing and it's changing very rapidly. And I guess with knowing, I guess the student community and the cohort that would likely apply to these undergraduate courses, they're Gen Z, Gen Alpha type people, so they're going to be connected to this stuff. They'll want to formalize their relationship wanting with AI. to see how the systems actually work, and how to guide um, how to use AI ethically and responsibly, is one of the key components of this one. I've literally finished some personal study myself, so literally handed in my final paper for a master's yesterday. Um, and part of that, although it was a business analytics course that I was doing, it was a lot to do with leveraging AI to drive coding for to interpret uh, high volumes of data very quickly. So that kind of covered it, but making sure that that data doesn't escape. So you're kind of covering off three different subject areas here: AI, data analytics, and cybersecurity at the same time. So the student here could be an AI specialist, data analyst, machine learning engineer, all in very, very high demand now. And I know that quite a few of the Southeast Asian countries, um, governments are now spending a lot of money building infrastructure hubs for IT and those kind of things. So maybe something to include in your GS statements and stuff later on down the track. Um, so computer science specialization. So this is more of the traditional IT. So advanced theory and the practical knowledge. So it's about design, development, and optimization of software systems to solve complex problems uh, across tech-driven industries. So, software engineer, systems analyst, application developer. Um, but a lot of these ones now, like I said, will involve some kind of AI down the track. Cybersecurity, so making sure that if you're using AI, you're not actually spreading your entire company data online. I think that's the uh, important thing there, but also making sure that if you've got websites and that kind of stuff with your company, making sure that they're not getting hacked and uh, about identifying, assessing, and mitigating cyber threats and protecting your digital assets, and making sure that your businesses can operate efficiently without having to deal with cybersecurity threats too often. They do happen sometimes, but yeah, uh, one of the big ones recently. So if you're interested in cybersecurity, a good test case would be Canvas. So one of the biggest learning management systems globally got uh, got hacked, and it took down. Basically, they took down that infrastructure from quite a huge number of universities, impacting about 300,000 uh, students globally. So that's that, and that was just probably maybe 4 weeks ago now. So it's just a really, really recent thing. Cybersecurity analyst, information security specialist, security consultant, pen tester. So that's the ethical hacker. So yeah, data analytics, like I said, the AI, sorry, data is the new gold. So seeing uh, patterns within data to guide um, sensible and valid business decisions is very, very important leading forward. So I guess one of those things as well. Internally, everyone on this call would have some kind of business. You would have some kind of data behind the scenes to see uh, what courses are popular with students, what destinations are popular with students, how whether you and it's more formalizing that process to see that data as it changes. And I think with making sure that you can stay ahead of stay ahead of the curve and ahead of the competition. So you're looking at data analyst, business intelligence analyst, data engineer, analytics consultant, those kind of roles. Skipped over a few because they're the main four which we're looking at. We'll just look at the entry requirements, the structure, and the intakes as well. So we've got a entry requirement. So most recent year 12, 65% or above. The the equivalent of that in the location that you are. If they're doing A levels, three A levels or above, um, at a passing grade. IELTS 6.0, no band lower than 5.5 for direct entry. The other popular one is PTE. So that's overall 50, no band lower than 42. GS. So I'm just going to skip through this one pretty quickly because you'd know what it is. But our process, the way that it actually follows, and the Yes Education team will assist with this. But first off, conditional offer. We do recommend, uh, similar to the department, when you're submitting visas, do submit stuff that's decision ready. Um, We'd prefer to, and it's easier for you, it takes out a frustration point as well for the student to submit complete documents, what that is. Uh, English proficiency, passport, year 12, uh, those kind of things, include them. Uh, Stamp them with your agency stamp as well. That would be good. So we're looking at, to get the conditional offer, I just mentioned that, English academic gap, immigration history. One of the questions that you probably got that you'll ask, do we accept visa refusal cases, not from offshore? So after the conditional offer, we've got a GS form and a financial matrix. That's all electronic. And uh, after that clears, it gets a full offer, which is basically an invitation to pay, and then you submit the visa application. So financial matrix, pretty straightforward. Um, it's maybe slightly different format to what you've seen, just in terms of aesthetics, but it'll be very, very similar to other places where you've got the financial matrix. So just going through the personal details, tuition fee for the first 12 months. One of the important things as well, and this is not necessarily related, it's related to education, but more widely as well. So the Australian dollar is going up dramatically against some currencies, so it's always good to have a little bit of a buffer beyond what immigration is looking for, just to deal with those currency fluctuations. Not sure what it is with Indonesia, but I know with some of the other surrounding countries, you've got up to 25% difference in currency cross rates within the last 12 months. So something to something to keep in mind. Living expenses, initial travel cost, and how the student's actually going to support themselves. One of the common questions that comes up, and the simple answer to this is what funds are accepted? I guess it's the ones that students have genuine access to those funds as per the requirements of the department. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. Uh, what does the financial capacity matrix include? So financial declaration, details of the family unit, proof of relationship, um, and then evidence of lump sum money deposits. So that's one of the ones that always comes up in Department of Immigration webinars and that kind of stuff. It's like, oh, all of a sudden there's a major deposit where there's no real source of funds and it's just appeared out of the middle of nowhere. Um, if immigration's concerned, we will be too. So just keep that in mind. And then what are the other, how are they going to support themselves otherwise? So fully dispersed, unsecured loans, personal loans, fixed deposit receipts, and whether there's sufficient annual income which reflects the level of savings and uh, loan serviceability, whether it actually reflects genuinely. So there's a little bit about the regulations and without getting too political, I guess. So from November 2025, there's Ministerial Direction 115. I've highlighted some stuff in red, and that's deliberate. Aims to commence processing. It doesn't say that it's going to be done. It says that they might look at it uh, within 1 to 4 weeks of lodgement for priority one. They might start looking at it between 5 and 8 weeks at priority two, and then 9 to 12 weeks at priority three. Long story short, what does Ministerial Direction 115 mean? It means you're basically going almost back to the way that the processing was prior to COVID. So you're planning to submit your visa application at least 3 months out, just to make sure that you're giving sufficient time there. I guess if you leave your run too late as well, flight tickets have become dramatically more expensive closer to the date as well. So always more relaxing to get a visa approval ahead of time than at the very last second because it creates a whole heap of other pressure along the way. Um, the Department of Home Affairs, and I borrowed this from one of their slides, um, stuff that they've been using for the last couple of webinars, and this is uh, indicators for them if to highlight if there are um, concerns with a file. So, and what are they? Generic statements unsupported by evidence, implausible claims regarding the value of the cost to the applicant's future. Um, Example of that, when I after I finish my Bachelor of IT, I'm going to become the chief executive of an IT company. Uh, Not really possible for 99.9% of people. There might be a super talented person within there. So typically after a bachelor program, you're looking at entry level entry level positions where they can actually grow. Poor performance during interviews, unexplained visa withdrawals. So if they ask for further information and suddenly the file disappears or gets withdrawn. Previous immigration history of concern, and that's for individual plus family history, I guess. Inconsistencies in information provided by the applicant. Um, one of the slides, and I'm not sure where it got to. It must be hidden, but my our genuine student requirement form follows the same pattern, 150 words per with those four questions. Like, but you've only got 150 words, so it should be pretty easy to create that consistency. But then I've seen it on question one, they're talking about Bachelor of IT. But then whoever in question four, they've all of a sudden started talking about hospitality. So when you're filling out when you're filling out the our GS form and as well as the visa application, it's also very important to make sure that that space is used wisely and it has a consistent narrative within those 600 words that you've got to play with. Information indicating that the application may contain fraud. So there's particular fraud indicators which the government um identifies, and I guess some of the South Asian countries at the moment were getting heavily refused recently because of um, particularly around financial documents. Incomplete applications and failure to respond to requests to the department. So I had one case, and this was early on when SAHE was there. The student was asked to provide details of their medical. They didn't. There's only going to be one outcome to that. So it's important that everything gets responded to in a timely way. Just going to play a bit of a video. And we did do a sound check, so hopefully the settings are still working.
Bling bling.
Okay, that was a bit of a teaser for our campus. There is a website which we have for agents. Big part of 2025 when I near the start of my tenure with SAHE, big part of what I did was look at what agents like and what agents don't like. And I know that you guys hate searching for information, so I've got a sub page here where everything is contained in the one location. So your um, GS forms, your financial matrices, the links to the brochure, uh, links to the brochure, links to two-page flyers, and a few other bits and pieces are all contained on that one page. So you don't have to go searching for stuff. So good opportunity if you haven't scanned that QR code yet. Just take the opportunity while we've got there, or while we're here. Just a reminder as well that we do have the Q&A section, so we'll come to that very, very soon. If you've got any questions, we'll come we'll come to that. So here's my team. So myself on the left-hand side, got Suraj over in Nepal, Deepika in India, Chrislyn in Philippines, Anil is here, Sudeep is also um, in Nepal, and Frida is in Kenya. I've also got another staff member in Papua New Guinea. So um, kind of United Nations team at the moment. Got my details there, so if anyone would like to my contact details, just scan the QR code. It's all on WhatsApp and all that kind of stuff, so you can feel free to send me a message there. So the QR code, it's a V card basically, so pretty high tech. Location wise, so we can see up there 191 Thomas Street, uh, the Yes Education, and I'm not sure whether you can see my mouse pointer, but you got Goulburn Street up Second Street going left to right. Between Goulburn Street and Liverpool Street is the Yes Education uh, um, office. So Johnny and team are based out of there. What else have we got directly above? We've got Market City, so a good place for souvenirs and all that kind of stuff for when students go from Australia back to Indonesia visiting family. Next to that, to the right of Market City is Chinatown. directly underneath, so you see a whole heap of blue stuff directly underneath the where the campus pointer is. That's basically Central Station. So that's got intercity trains, it's got suburban trains, new metro line that's been open for about a year and a half. Uh, got two tram lines, a major bus terminal as well. A little bit further up, so you got through here, Chinese Garden of Friendship, and a little bit further up. So if anyone is actually coming to, if anyone's coming to AIEC later on in the year in October, it's just little bit little bit further up from the top of this map is where the conference will take place. So open invitation for anyone to actually visit our campus. You can, I guess, if you're jumping off the train at Central, you can just do a quick swing by the campus and then keep on going to the conference as well. Okay, I think we have got to that point where it's the Q&A section. So we'll just see if anyone's got any questions there at all.
I think not yet, but as a reminder again, if you have for our attendee, if you have any question regarding the program, or maybe still not sure about the GS, or maybe currently you are having student inquiry interested in business or IT, and you are not sure about the GS, you can ask them here. And maybe before they submit the question, and then it's about the GS. So if the student already got like the refusal, but they are onshore, so like in the
Yeah, yeah.
process of yeah, it's
If
still
they're
okay.
onshore at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
if they're
Mm-hmm.
onshore at the moment, it really depends on the nature of the refusal.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the letter associated with the
Mm-hmm.
bridging visa. The closer you get to E, the more difficult it becomes.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's an A, yeah. And I think that's the other thing as well. So I know that there was quite a few Indonesian students who came for vet in the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually a very good question. We do have an intake in June. We've also got another one in October. So if your students are actually finishing their diploma, advanced diploma, and are looking for their next step, you may be able to refer that student onshore to us as
Mm-hmm.
well. So you've got that
Ah,
option. You've got that option as well. So retaining the relationship with that particular student, leading forward and making sure that they do um, continue with your respective businesses. So it's a good one. Look, and I know that immigration onshore,
mm-hmm.
we've had students that have graduated um, before those adverse um, decisions were actually dealt with. So the main thing there is if the student has got the refusal, it's very important to reinforce that, look, you've been flagged once, let's turn that negative into a positive. Let's get you through bachelor's, let's graduate, and uh, don't play around because immigration won't be as look, they've been grumpy once. You don't want to make them grumpy twice.
Yep. Yeah. Also another question, Stefan.
Mm,
It's a little bit confusing for us too. Regarding the new policy that for onshore transfer student, right? The
mm,
implement this April. So
yeah.
if the case, the student must transfer because the program closer, is it
Uh,
still commissionable or not? Because it's not the student fault, right? or
Yeah,
if they fail.
that's my view as well. And yeah, look, if it's a provider default, there's usually different
Mm-hmm.
arrangements.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I actually gave a presentation, geez, it must have been about 6 weeks ago now, um, for ISANA, and it was a very similar question that actually came up. And my view with that one is if comes down to student choice, like you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Is the student choosing to change? No, not really. Um, it's not that's one of the scenarios that's not necessarily covered within that legislative framework. I think at the main one of the main things that I guess the spirit of the legislation is to make sure that students that come in from overseas actually make the right decision from when
Mm-hmm.
they're overseas.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very, very important for all the agents that are on board here today. You know your clients and their families. What can they? I guess the situation now is it's not necessarily about what they can afford this week, but it's about what they can afford for the duration of the course. So if you're looking at Department of Home Affairs Facebook pages and stuff like that, they're posting about um, similar kind of thing. Can the student afford? Can the student support themselves for the full duration? Is one of those common uh, themes that are popping up. Um, the main one there is there's a couple of different in terms of that transfer, uh, non-transfer thing.
Mm-hmm.
First one is whether it happened before or after the 1st of April. If it happened before 1st of April 2026, it's under the old system. If it's from 1st of April 2026, it's under the new. Um, Main thing there is if the student hasn't completed their course and is looking to change. Uh, Big thing is the agent remuneration doesn't actually follow. I would have to get back to you with a definitive answer on the other question around um, if it's a provider default, um,
Mm-hmm.
like if a provider closes, what's the next step? Can commission follow? I need to find out and get back to you. Really,
Okay.
yeah. So it's a very unusual one, but I think one of those anomalies, and it's not necessarily in the not necessarily one of those things that was as part of the intended purpose of the legislation in the first place. So it's just one of those areas that I haven't actually fully addressed.
Okay. Okay.
Any other
Yeah.
questions there? We're very quiet on the chat. Is there another Q&A? Is there
No,
something
no.
that I can't
I
see?
think no one gave the question yet. I think maybe from your presentation already clear enough, and
Yeah.
I think the one that joining also not new counselor, so maybe they already
Mm,
have the information. And regarding the program,
mm.
if they suddenly want to change the specialization,
Yep.
when is the deadline before they need to
No.
add duration
Okay.
if they change in the middle?
Look, if it, the way that the course is structured as well gives them a little bit of freedom in that space.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, with the 8 common subjects within the Bachelor of Business, student might have enrolled in, I don't know, accounting major. I'm going to pick on accounting here. They do accounting 101 and realize that accounting is not necessarily what they want to do, but they really liked information
Mm-hmm.
systems. Yeah, they can change. That's a simple internal paperwork. Where it gets complex is if they're changing, say, for example, from business to IT, where there's not
Ah.
match. there might be some match, but there's not going to be a complete match, if that makes sense. With IT, you've also got those 14 core subjects, so there's a lot of subjects that actually run um, consistently across those courses.
Mhm.
So that's good. Good there. I think the other thing as well, like I said, the student with computer science might work out that they are really interested in information systems. There's a fair bit of flexibility there in terms of they can still do the computer science, but then they can also do the other specialization on the side if they're smart with their elective selections as well.
I
So
see.
um, yeah, there are other courses on the way. So we're just waiting for a few uh, regulatory decisions to come through. Part of them is a master's programs. Can't say which ones because I'm not allowed to directly promote, but I know that we have applied. We're just waiting for an outcome of those.
Okay, noted on that. I think no one have any question. Maybe later on when they have
Yeah,
student cases. So, for our attendee, if you later have any student cases, have any inquiry about the program over in Southern Academy of Higher Education, just reach out to Yes Education team. Or if you have student who wants to do like personal consultation with Stefan, we can also assist to arrange that session.
yep.
And as Stefan said, he will join our annual summit in Surabaya. So maybe we can see you soon there too.
Yeah, yeah. It's my first time. It'll be my first time to Indonesia, so I'm pretty excited. It's one of those places that I haven't made it to yet. Traveled most of the rest of Asia, but yeah, just never made it to Indonesia as yet, and pretty excited. So looking forward to it in September. Um,
Yeah.
Looking forward to the looked at the itinerary there and looked at all the
Mhm.
cultural programs and all that kind of stuff. So pretty excited. Looking forward to meet a few of the people, the people that are on this webinar, but also the wider Yes Education Agent network as well.
Yeah, we are excited to have you too. Okay. For our attendee, as a reminder again, that Yes Education have the fam trip program for 2027. The destination for next year is to New Zealand, but for the point accumulation, you can also get it from Southern Academy of Higher Education for the higher degree program. So don't forget to submit your application and then submit the student application. And if you have any student wants to do the online consultation with Stefan, we can assist to do that. Or if you want to do online webinar for student info session with your agency, we can also assist to arrange that.
Yep. Um, and just a reminder as well that Sydney is just a short flight from New Zealand as well. So, and it's on the way back to Indonesia. So it's it kind of
Yeah.
just takes the long journey out of the flight. So if you do drop into Sydney on the way back, please, and you're walking up to the Yes Education office, SAHE is about halfway between Central and the Yes Education office.
Okay, thank you, Stefan, for your time
Thank you.
today.
No worries at all. Thank you very much. Looking forward to meeting everyone in person in Indonesia in September.
Yeah, see you in September, Stefan. And thank you for
Okay.
everyone. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. See
Thank
ya.
you, Stefan. Thank you all.